I'm the transition for him to introduce himself, basically.
I'm spellbound. I'm spellbound. I'm spellbound. Like this. Hey, what I'm about to say may hit a lot of people in a real strange way. Some said I should have spelled this a long time ago, but I stayed amateur while others turned pro.
Hi, I'm Lizzie Cummins.
I'm Lucas Mahoney.
I'm Sophia Linder.
And I'm Tyler, and today we have a special guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is K Solo.
Yay!
Okay, so, do you have your questions out?
I do have my questions. I'm just saying, how do you want to start this off?
Let's start this off is, where did you grow up?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I grew up in Long Island, New York. Yeah, Long Island is a suburb similar to this in Florida. We don't have the heat. Oh. Yeah, I'm on the other side of the water from Rhode Island.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Rhode Island would be, where you're from is like New England. I'm on the other side of New England. Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting too because me and Pascagoula area is well, where I'm at is a peninsula, a small one, similar to Florida, and we share the same Long Island Sound.
Yeah.
Same as Florida. We all share the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. You know, California would be the Pacific Ocean and then going to Hawaii.
I've taken a boat to Long Island. Like, you go straight from Newport and you're right on Long Island. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's like
that's where my kids would, because they're from Connecticut. Mm-hmm. So Vaughn and Shani's mother would come from the ferry from Port Jeff, and then we'd pick them up because at that time we were living in Quorum. Mm-hmm. But I'm from a town called Central Islip in Long Island.
So how did you get into like the rap scene down there?
So in the early time when rap was being developed by I believe it was Cool Herc and the Herculoids out of the Bronx. A lot of kids like our age were coming up with different expressions. Our parents came from the Motown era. I don't know if you guys know about Motown, but your parents do, or your grandparents do. Mm. So Motown, there was a guy by the name of Barry Gordy who used to be a boxer, and then he didn't continue boxing, and he started developing acts. And you have these communities that have not a lot of money, but when you're kind of going through what we're going through as far as there's not a lot of money, it creates a lot of character. Mm-hmm. If you have a lot of free time, you need to come up with a lot of poetry on your own. And rap was that for us as a unit. It was like, it was a new music, it was coming out, and it wasn't on yet. They were circulating the songs through tapes. Mm-hmm. And the tapes were getting enough recognition where the Jewish community, as far as the record people, started paying attention to it. Now, in the very beginning of this time, they didn't think it was going to really, evolve into anything. They were like, oh, it's a fad. That's what they would hear.
And now it's the biggest thing ever.
Yeah, it's just, well, it happens with people like us involved, kids, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg.
Don't you know
Beastie Boys? Yeah. I did some work with Snoop when Snoop first came out. Being in the room with Dr. Dre and him, I was also on the record label they were on.
Death Records.
Death Row. And Snoop was a young kid, just trying to figure it out. I knew he had it though. He just, anytime you said something, he had an answer for it. And it was, it's just the same thing with anything. It develops and it evolves. So having that opportunity, to be in those circles, I kind of knew it was going where it was going, but when very young, I didn't know it was going to be as big as it is today.
Yeah.
But I knew it was definitely something that we were all doing. Because the first rap record I heard was a guy by the name of, what was his name? Fatback Band. It was a record called Personality Jock. 3 weeks later, then Sugar Hill was the biggest. Like, it really, really took off.
So did he inspire you, or did you all kind of inspire yourself, since it wasn't a big thing?
King Tim inspired me, because when I heard it, I was just like, I can do that. It was just like one of those, I can do that.
Was this in the breakdancing era?
No. It was it's funny you say that because the first artists that we saw breakdancing was a group in LA called the Lockers. And they were doing the street dance. It was called pop locking. It wasn't breakdancing yet.
I heard about that.
So I would see that, and you know, my father would say dance because my dad had a band and he would play. But being little, not really understanding what it was, my dad was kind of grooming me early because he would say, "Well, if you don't dance with the audience, you're not going to eat." And I used to be like, "What?" 8 years old, you know, and in front of all of these people, and he's doing a wedding or something, and he would just say, you know, they're playing a Michael Jackson song, and that part would come on. If I didn't do the robot in that part, no White Castle. So I, you know, picked up real quick that it was something that we could do. And in our community, in the black community at that time, that's something that everybody kind of, when you put music on, they all just, even if they didn't know each other, they would either.
Yeah, my dad was a part of this group. I don't know what it was called, but it was from New York City. Yeah. And they would like dance and break dance.
That's the whole thing. It was like, and then other cultures got involved too, you know. It was very interesting in our community because there were all kind of people in our community in Long Island. There was not just black people, there was Spanish people, there was Polish people, there was Italian people, there was Irish people, there was Scottish people, there were Chinese people, and everybody was involved in it, whether it was graffiti, or whether it was breakdancing, whether it was DJing. There, you know, everything was hip hop. The kids all dressed, you know, like everybody knew what to wear.
Jinko jeans.
Well, you know, like you got your Nikes on. Everybody knows the fashions, and that's what hip hop was. It was like everybody relate, and then the parents, our parents, even though we were all different culture, we all clicked because our age group clicked.
Yeah, music really does bring people together.
Right, and that's what it was, and it's like that now too. You guys are still tuned into each other because of your time.
Well, what do you think about like rap music now and stuff? How do you think social media has influenced it?
I think social media did its job, but I think the message is kind of, sometimes the kids really don't understand, like the new kids, like the mumble rap is different. That we had a message in it. Like when I did Moms in My Business, I really went through that. You know, I was dating a girl, and her mother was really asking me some crazy questions, and I was saying to myself, this is interesting. But coming from where I come from, you know, my mother was always like, real early grooming me. And don't say this, and don't say that. So when it was interesting that this girl's mother was asking me, like, where did your mother work? And I'm like, already groomed from my mother telling me as a child. And I wouldn't even know that it would be a ground for a record later on. I had no idea that I would use this thing in the world that I was dealing with this girl. Had to been about 14. And then the next thing you know is it becomes a record called Moms in My Business down the road, and it referred to what we were dealing with. And in my era, I couldn't really curse and say crazy stuff on record because then my mother and father heard it.
Yeah.
So in that time frame when hip hop was young, I remember Kwame got on TV and said, shout out to Kwame. Kwame said that when rappers first came out, we wanted them to understand that we were not drug dealers, we were not gangsters, we were just guys that were rapping. And now today's game is like, you know, more or less today or yesterday's game was more or less we're selling drugs and we're doing this. And when, you know, I mean, I don't know how that's possible. I'm saying some of them did do it, right? But how crazy is it that you're doing it on TV if you were supposed to do that quietly so no one gets you?
I don't get how they don't get in trouble for
that.
Right,
that's what, and then also we had to deal with our parents.
Yeah.
So can you imagine me saying something crazy and then I open the door and there's my mother and my sisters looking for me. So I wanted to be politically correct.
How did you even get into the music industry though?
So I had a friend named Paris Smith who was a Boy Scout. He was an Eagle Scout. I met him and his brother. They were from a town over. And they had it together enough where they could, if they heard something, make a demo and get things out. And that's what happened. I always had a job though, you know, always. Because my mother taught me as a child, she was like, self-worth is the key preservation to everything, right? So no matter what I was going through, I always had a day job. So even though I wanted to entertain that rap stuff, I always wanted to have nice clothes and nice sneakers. So when I did present myself, I got in the room. Because a lot of times, if you didn't dress the part, you didn't get in the room.
Yeah.
You know, so when Parrish heard me and I had somewhat of it together, we were able to forge a great relationship, and we cut a demo. And I got on the record because he was in a group first before I was out, called EPMD, and they were very famous in our neighborhood. And when EPMD went gold in 30 days, I was featured on their second album, Unfinished Business.
You know about that, right, Lucas?
I was gonna ask, what was it like being a member? Was it like?
Yeah, it was good. It's like Parrish had it together. Like I said, Parrish had it together, and then his partner Eric was a little younger. And then when Eric discovered Redman, Redman became my younger brother.
You guys know Redman? He's a popular rapper.
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Redman and Method Man from like different Wu-Tang clans.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
So Redman is
Gravel Pit.
yeah, and Redman is part of him and Method Man or a group.
Weren't
And
they like your roommates?
no, Redman was like my little brother. I took Redman. Redman was my DJ first, and then we were born on the same day.
Oh.
So what happened was every time me and Redman were celebrating our birthday, and people would see us, guys bigger than us, wouldn't do it, say, "You brothers," because we looked alike, and I would say no, they would get mad and go, "Oh, how you know this brother and you celebrating?" So we had to be like, "Okay, yeah, we're brothers," just to keep it going. And it stuck. And
Yeah, that's what Mom says. That like he's like your brother.
yeah, and to this day he still listens, and he still, I call him he's still receptible. Snoop too, which is ironic because Snoop is the face of hip hop now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I actually see Snoop from time to time. Like, I'll see him on social media, and he'll just be randomly somewhere just doing
he's
something
the face.
random. Like, he'll be on TV randomly one day, or he'll be making cereal some other
Exactly.
day.
and it goes viral because it's Snoop.
Yeah, he's the main man right now.
Yeah, he's just a face. No
Yeah.
matter,
Cool.
yeah, he's very cool, very down to earth. Most of these guys, I don't know if you guys know, come from a church background. Snoop was a choir boy.
Really?
Redman played in the drums in the church. I played in the drums in the church. Like we can't, and we still got, if Redman did something crazy, he got kicked out. She didn't entertain it. You know what I mean? We had to still walk a fine line with our parents and do our thing. And this is why I came today, because I know that Pass is doing something different. This is a great environment for her to grow in. And it's important for us to take our time for people like you, because you guys are going to be the face of tomorrow.
Yeah.
We laid the ground, but what are you going to do tomorrow? That's why it's so important that not only we support and pay attention. We want to also inspire you guys to do great when you get out there too, because we didn't want to come out here and mess it up. So when people come behind us, it's nothing here. We want to keep it live, so everybody can throw the ball, and then when somebody comes after your part, you do the same thing that we're doing right now. It's important.
It is.
Very
But
important.
you knew Tupac, right?
Yeah, I had the pleasure to be with Tupac. When Tupac got out of jail, and we was at the record label with Snoop, and Tupac hugged me. He said, "The Fugitive." Funny, the song is
I
one of
know that
those.
song.
He said, "The Fugitive," and I said, "What's up?" And he went right to work. It's just he got caught up in most of us get caught up in peer pressure and stuff, and then it goes downhill. Especially when there's a lot of money, a lot of women, a lot of attention, a lot of cameras going. You sometimes can't get to the nuts and bolts of things, And I'm sure if he had a little more time, it would have been better for him, you know what I'm saying? But a great artist, a great inspiration, just made some real critical mistakes, and he's no longer with us, But I love Tupac. I love everything he stood for, and it's unfortunate that we weren't able to, he wasn't able to grow and understand how to avoid certain things, certain pitfalls.
Yeah. And you've seen the side of that.
Yeah, I did. I saw the inside and the outside of it because, like I said, I was there. I was boots on the ground. I was like, this is interesting. And it was my first time in L.A. watching gangster culture, and I never witnessed that on the East Coast.
Mhm.
We didn't have gangs on the East Coast.
What about New York City? Didn't they have gangs and stuff?
A long time ago, but then hip-hop changed it, because when the Black Spades and them were in the Bronx, it turned into African Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation. And then they converted that gang energy into straight hip hop.
Mhm.
And the West, but when you look at America as a whole, America, before the Africans got free in slavery, was gangs. I don't know if you guys seen gangs in New York. It was all gangs, every culture that came here, it was about a gang. And then it's funny how not only did we embrace gang culture in America, it all followed the same, Republican Democrat color too. Crips, Bloods, blue and red. It's the
Yeah.
same. If we, you know what I'm saying? So it's real important to understand that we don't need gangs. You know, we need, you know, entrepreneurs that are going to develop outside the gate things that we can, you know, contribute to a beautiful world. You know, and I don't think gangs do that. I think
No.
they convey a negative stereotype of people that need numbers to get things done. I don't think, like, I was solo and I did all this by myself in a lot of ways. I mean, I did get help by EPMD, but I still had to write the songs. I still had to show up and do my part. And I think anybody shows up and does what they got to do, you know, you can get things done. You don't need to be in a gang to make things happen. I don't think
Yeah.
that has to happen.
But you know your song Spellbound?
Yeah.
What happened with that stuff with DMX? I saw that video where you had to take that lie detector
yeah,
test.
because, okay, so he's trying to be the greatest rapper in the world, as I am, and, you know.
Did you squash the beef?
Yeah,
before you
I love
passed away?
X. I love him. Listen, X was just, you know, he's just a student. He gave Jay-Z more headaches than me. Like, he will try to rival you for that position. That, you know, they don't want to be the best. So, you know, shout out to him and his family. You know, we love Earl Simmons and his contributions to hip-hop. But I created Spellbound. And and I did it because that was the only thing I could do. Right, the only thing I could do that I could do rap-wise and sound somewhat cool without getting killed by my people. You know, like my mother. I'm like, oh, you said that. I couldn't say nothing crazy on the record.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. They were. To this day, I'm still afraid of my sister.
Who isn't? Sister.
She's older than me. And I'd rather fight Mike Tyson than her. Straight up. And I always tell him to her, I said, Mike, if you don't get him in the first round, she got you.
You know Mike?
Yeah, I know Mike Tyson.
Really?
Boy, yeah.
What is he like?
Random to just drop like, oh yeah, I know Mike Tyson. I'd rather fight him.
Yeah, I'd rather go in there with him than Cookie. And Mike had a sister that was a little tougher than him, too. Mike's older sister was tougher than him, too.
I feel like older siblings are definitely scared. Scared.
Yeah, Mike Tyson's sister was no joke, bro. She was to protect him before he got Yeah, real story.
What famous people do you know?
So I know Dre. I never met Eminem yet.
Drake. Dude, what about the Drake and Kendrick Lamar drama? What's your opinion on that?
I think I think it got out of hand. I mean, I was following it for a while. I was trying to be entertained, but that last record that Kendrick did, I guess, just.
Oh yeah, I feel
Killed
like
it.
Kendrick, what he released was very good. Cause I listened to both Drake and Kendrick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Kendrick is like a
And-
word god.
Yeah, Kendrick really tried hard and conveyed like a lot of things,
Yeah.
and then Drake just kind of sat there,
Yeah.
and whatever came to mind, he said it.
Well, I like Drake too, but you know what I think? Compton is very hard to defeat in rap battles.
Yeah.
And when you do the history of Compton, right, since the beginning of its exception, Compton, they had a beef with Tim Dog in the very, very beginning. And Tim Dog was from the Bronx, and he thought NWA shouldn't be where they were. And NWA was the pinnacle of the West Coast. They, you know, it was a great group. Ice Cube, good friend of mine, is in that group. Ren, Dr. Dre, and Eazy-E. The late Eazy-E,
Eazy-E.
and they were, you know, it were hit records, man. They had America on the cuffs of just America followed that group, and then so yeah, but Tim Dog didn't have an idea that they were going to be that big, and he was dissing them about the Jerry curl, and it backfired. They became one of the biggest groups in hip hop history, and that's what saved him with Kendrick Lamar being from that place. You know, a synopsis for battles. They got him with Luke Skywalker, and I never forget it. I told Redman, I said, this is interesting because they're dissing Luke Skywalker in the video, and they never had females eye candy in the video till they beat Luke. And then when they beat Luke, I seen the girls in the Dr. Dre video on the back of the lowrider and Still Dre, and I'm like, wow. You know, just, you know, how synopsis it was that they had that at the end of the battle, and then it's like, yeah, this is a trophy. Now we got the girls in our video, and it's like they are undefeated with that prowess. Dr. Dre, you know, undefeated with that. So
Have you ever met Kendrick?
no,
That'd be cool.
no, I met his OGs though. Like I lived with Dre.
You lived with Drake?
Yeah, Dr. Dre.
Oh, what?
Yeah, before I got my apartment in the Oak Woods, I stayed with Dr. Dre.
Cool.
And yeah, me and Sam Sneed stayed with Dr. Dre till we got out to our places in Oakland, California, and then and Suge was there too. Suge Knight.
Is like living in California different? Like
Yeah, it is. It's 3 hours difference in time, and the black culture does everything different than we do on the East.
Yeah.
Like, we dance different. Our styles are totally different, but the food taste is similar.
Really?
Because it's still, because it's still Afro-Americans making soul food, right? So if you're still eating the cornbread and the collard greens, they taste the same on both coasts. But when you watch the way Snoop and them dance, right? There's a move that they do that I was like, this is interesting. It was like a 1-2 step. We didn't do that on the East Coast.
1-2 step.
Another thing too about music and the black culture, which it's very weird, is this: James Brown did everything on the one, right? On the one. And funk by George Clinton, everything is done rhythmatically in a different, like a cosmic slap, and he built his whole career off of that. And James Brown built his off of that. And soul and funk are not the same genres of music. You know, they're very different. It's like down south black culture is different than West Indian black culture. Now, if you're European, you might not know the difference but West Indians and like Jamaican or Bayesian or Haitian, they're Caribbean. And then down south blacks like Louisiana, ATL, Georgia, they're from down south. Let me show you the difference. In 1834, when emancipation for the slaves were free in Great Britain, they were first. In America, it was over in 1865 when Lincoln freed the slaves. So,
and they all invented hip hop.
Right. The West Indians, because Kool Herc is from Jamaican descent. So just so you know, it gets you up on, because some people don't talk about this stuff. Right? We just like the music.
Yeah, a lot of people just
history of the music.
A lot of people just go back as far as NWA and don't go any farther back to realize.
Exactly, because NWA is the calling when a lot of people tuned in.
Yeah,
they're saying something.
Exactly. Music has been here since like the very beginning.
Oh yeah.
It is what unified us all.
Of course.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
And it sticks today, which is honestly I think is absolutely amazing.
Because Eminem went through a very hard time getting on in the Beastie Boys too. I remember when the Beastie Boys hit the stage.
Oh, I love the Beastie Boys.
Yeah, shout out to the Beastie Boys because they're a very, 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 very solid group. And I remember when they first came out and they was like, well, we don't want to dress like white kids. We want to dress like, and they were dressing like they had sweatsuits on and they had and the crowd booed them. They didn't click.
Wait, are we talking about the same Beastie Boys?
Yeah. People didn't click when they saw them, and then when they dressed regular, everybody went crazy.
Weird.
Well, it's just be yourself, right?
Yeah.
If you could just be yourself, people will figure it out. Like, it's okay to be different. Like, who didn't want to be Bruce Lee? Okay, so Bruce Lee was this karate guy that when we was kids, right? Well, Wu-Tang Clan embraced the Asian side of hip-hop, right?
Yeah.
And they made a mesh with it, right? So when we saw Bruce Lee as kids, I remember my dad bringing us to a theater in Manhattan, and I seen this Chinese guy with the woodchucks, and he's fighting like 20 people, and you know it's choreographed, right?
Yeah.
No, it's choreographed.
Oh.
Right? I'm not. As a kid, I don't think that. I think it's a real fight.
Yeah.
I'm watching him, and he's beating everybody. So I'm a little kid. I'm like, oh shit, I want to do that. So next thing you know, this is how life is as kids. I got the karate shoes on, and you know it's going on in the city like this. You see these little pockets of everybody. You must have seen the Bruce Lee movie. Everybody wanted to be. So what I mean is that it's okay to be different. You don't have to be, one culture to be embraced if you're good at something. Eminem is a phenomenal rapper.
Yeah, he is.
And this is a white kid with blonde hair. You wouldn't think he's rhyming like this.
Have you seen his movie?
Yeah, his
8 Mile?
Yeah, his bar game is bar none. Next level. So it's okay to be different. You just gotta be good.
What's your advice for this generation?
Just to be good. Because it's okay. You all be different, and that's what makes what we're doing so special. That's why we're here, because everybody's playing a part in something that we all like.
Yeah. Basically.
And it makes it, it makes it worth it, so we can all continue to do what we like. Every generation can tap in and be like, oh yeah, remember that? They're gonna look at this one day and be like, they're gonna go back to these days and go, Silverhawk Radio, they had K-Solo up there, and they
they're gonna. In 20 years, these videos are gonna still be up, and I'm gonna be looking back at them.
I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember this person from like, oh,
or your kids are gonna be watching it. Or your grandkids are gonna be watching it, and then you never know what they're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
And that's why
the future is definitely like a wild perspective to think about, because you never know what's gonna happen,
And the past is influential.
I want to thank you kids too for being different, like the hairdos. No, seriously, because what you do, let me tell you what happens when you do that. I remember when we was kids, we used to wear our hair in braids, and they would be all over the place, and people would be afraid, right? Mm-hmm. But like we had, our hair was different textures than you guys, so when we wanted to sleep, we didn't want to wake up with it not looking, so we would have to do that and then take it out when we got up, right? Mm-hmm. But when the people don't know and they're not culturally aware, they're afraid. They're like,
they see it as different,
No, they just grab the bag and you're like, I wouldn't dare, my mother will kill me. Like, they don't understand. So when you're being that different, it lightens it up for the whole community to say, okay, people are different.
Yeah.
Because you guys are breaking the shell for guys like us that are coming in, because we're not European. We're Indian, black, and white, but it still opens the door for us to say, wait a minute, he's not. Because I remember this girl, Shelly, was... It opens the door up for us to have some kind of conclusivity that we're different. It's okay, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like the different hairdos and the being different is okay, because you set people up where they start remembering. People in your community start looking at you and going, that girl's weird, but... And they get used to it. And then it goes on to another level of... You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to be different.
Yeah.
It's good to be different.
I feel like we're the generation that's breaking norms. Like, I've seen a lot more people, like, my age or a few years older, who have piercings, different hair colors, different styles,
Can't judge
all of
you
that,
How are we going to judge y'all on that? It's crazy.
Yeah, I do find that, interesting.
But they've done it, though. People have done that.
They have, and it's just like, nothing is different. Because I've met people who definitely look scary, but I've talked to them and they're just like amazing. They're like teddy bears,
Like, you think I'm scary, bro.
You look scary, but you're like so sweet, though.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about. Like, what now? You see guys like Ted Bundy who don't have the piercings and they're killing people. Mm-hmm. It gets us, it's a conversation, right? So,
how did Ted Bundy?
He don't look like that.
He looks like a...
P. Diddy?
But
I feel bad for P. Diddy, because like I said, let me say this. I'm not for, I'm not going to bash what I don't know what he did. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
You never heard of P. Diddy?
No, I'm too scared of my mother. Like I said, crazy. I want to just do what I got to do, go home. Yeah. Right? That's just me. But let's keep it real. There was a Hugh Hefner out there doing the same thing and nothing happened to him.
Yeah.
I mean...
So I'm just saying, he was having crazy parties. He had a whole bunch of dates. And they can't say they wasn't traveling all over from state to state. Can't say that. We know that happened.
Yeah.
But here he is. I don't know what he's accused of. I'm just saying, it's ironic how they were similar. And, and now he's...
Are you talking about, what's his name? Jeffrey Epstein?
No, I know he's over true. I know he's over true. Listen,
he's all over.
Right, well, entertainment, right? That's what I say, guys. I agree with you what you're saying, but when people are and they go, what I'm saying? I just do my rap. I'm going home.
You just want to make a living.
So you really haven't seen the dark side of anything?
No, because I don't have time. I see what I see. I came from a real church community anyway. It was kind of boring. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was kind of boring. My church, ready, was a Salvation Army church. Dorothy Saunders raised a whole crew of us, and she was an Irish woman from Boston, and she wore the uniform. I'm talking about a Salvation Army uniform, and we played a church drum like this in church. So can you imagine me rapping crazy and she heard it? I'm talking about right now. Can you imagine? I mean, she's gone, but can you imagine me getting even a conversation, the inclination that she's anywhere in the realm of hearing this stuff?
We got 1 minute and 30 seconds.
I got you.
You got anything you want to say to?
Yes, I want to shout out the Silverhawk Radio for having me. That's the first. I want to shout out the generation that's coming after us to make sure that they, you know, not just hear the conversation, understand where it came from, where it's at, and it was all done because we doing something different. That's it. And also, listen out for the new albums that's coming out. We got new music coming out. My son Slim Wolf Run is in this neighborhood. He's out here. He's going to
Park, guys.
Yeah, he's Winter Park. He's in Winter Park. Check him out. That's it. Thank you for having me, and I had a great time being here.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you.
It's pretty cool seeing you.
Thank you.
You're a very inspirational person.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
If we gave you a word to freestyle us out, would you do it?
Yes, I was gonna.
Can I give you a floor? Okay, let's move with,
Silverhawk.
Silverhawk.
Yeah, or just Hawk. Or just
I like
Hawk.
the way they talk. So we came to do this radio show at Silverhawk Radio. Is that good enough?
Yeah, I mean, I have one more question. Have you ever met Tyler, the Creator?
No. I didn't meet him. He's a little bit, he's like my son's age though. He's Vaughn's age. He's Vaughn's age. Vaughn's a little younger than him, but now he's dope though.
I love Tyler.
That was good. That was fun.
I didn't see the countdown.
I'm spellbound. I'm spellbound. Like this. Hey, what I'm about to say may hit a lot of people in a real strange way. Some said I should have spelled this a long time ago, but I stay